The alien starship Ecliptor drifted silently through the void, its sleek, angular hull shimmering faintly under the distant light of a yellow star. Inside, the air was cool and sterile, the faint hum of failing systems a constant reminder of their predicament. Commander Valen stood on the command deck, her 4 slender fingers resting lightly on the console. Her iridescent eyes, a deep shade of violet, scanned the readouts with a mixture of frustration and unease. The Ecliptor was crippled. A rogue asteroid had torn through their primary power conduit, leaving them stranded in this uncharted system. The repairs were beyond their capabilities. They needed help. Valen turned to her second-in-command, Tarek, whose scaled skin glinted faintly under the dim emergency lights. "Status report," she said, her voice calm but edged with urgency. Tarek's voice was clipped, efficient. "Life support is stable, but the engines are non-functional. We have enough power to send a distress signal, but—" He hesitated, his reptilian features tightening. "The only inhabited planet in range is Earth. A human world." Valen's jaw tightened. Humans. The galactic consensus had classified them as a Tier 3 species. Resourceful but emotionally volatile, their technology rudimentary compared to the advanced civilizations of the galaxy. Still, they were known for their ingenuity and, more importantly, their willingness to assist others. Valen had little choice. "Open a channel," she ordered. "We'll contact their orbital station." As the signal was sent, Valen couldn't shake the unease settling in her chest. The Ecliptor's mission was clear: gather resources and intelligence, then return to the consensus. Engaging with humans was not part of the plan. They were unpredictable, their emotions often overriding logic. Yet, as the minutes ticked by, Valen found herself staring at the holographic image of Earth, a vibrant blue-green orb teeming with life. It was beautiful. The response came sooner than expected. A human face appeared on the viewscreen, framed by the metallic interior of their space station. The man was middle-aged, his features warm and open, a stark contrast to the reserved demeanor of Valen's species. "This is Commander James Carter of the International Orbital Station Harmony. We received your distress signal. How can we assist?" Valen straightened, her voice measured. "I am Commander Valen of the starship Ecliptor. We require repairs to our primary power conduit. Your assistance would be appreciated." Carter's expression softened. "Understood. We'll dispatch a repair team immediately. Hang tight. We'll have you back up and running in no time." The transmission ended, and Valen exhaled slowly. Tarek glanced at her, his golden eyes narrowing. "Do you trust them?" "Trust is irrelevant," Valen replied. "We have no other options." The human repair team arrived within hours, their shuttle docking smoothly with the Ecliptor. Valen watched as they boarded her ship, their movements confident but unhurried. They were led by a woman named Dr. Elena Marquez, her dark hair pulled into a loose bun, her expression a mix of curiosity and determination. She extended a hand to Valen, a gesture the alien recognized as a human custom. Valen hesitated before clasping it briefly, her touch cool and deliberate. "Commander Valen," Marquez said, her voice warm, "we'll get your ship fixed as quickly as possible. In the meantime, if there's anything you need, just let us know." Valen nodded, her gaze flickering over the human team. They carried tools and equipment that seemed almost primitive compared to the sleek devices of her own people. Yet there was an air of competence about them that she couldn't ignore. "Your assistance is appreciated," she said again, the words feeling awkward on her tongue. As the humans set to work, Valen observed them closely. They moved with a fluidity and ease that belied their lack of advanced technology. Their conversations filled with laughter and camaraderie. It was a stark contrast to the quiet efficiency of her own crew. One of the engineers, a young man named Alex, caught her eye. He was humming softly as he worked, his hands moving deftly over the damaged conduit. Valen found herself intrigued by his apparent lack of concern for the gravity of their situation. "Do you always sing while you work?" she asked, her voice tinged with curiosity. Alex looked up, a grin spreading across his face. Only when the job's going well. Helps keep the mood light, you know? Valen tilted her head, her brow furrowing slightly. The mood? Yeah, Alex said, his tone casual. You know, morale. Keeps everyone motivated. Valen considered this. Morale was not a concept her people prioritized. Efficiency and logic were the guiding principles of their society. Yet, as she watched the humans work, she couldn't deny the effectiveness of their approach. The repairs were progressing faster than she had anticipated. As the hours passed, Valen found herself drawn into conversation with Dr. Marquez. The human woman was intelligent and perceptive, her questions probing but respectful. She spoke of Earth's history, its struggles and triumphs, and Valen found herself listening with a growing sense of fascination. Humans were complex. Their emotions, once a source of confusion for her, now seemed to hold a kind of depth she had never encountered before. At one point, Marquez shared a story about her childhood, her voice softening as she spoke of her family. We've been through a lot, she said, her eyes distant. But we always find a way to keep going. That's what humans do. We adapt, we endure. Valen felt a strange stirring in her chest, an emotion she couldn't quite name. Your resilience is remarkable, she said quietly. Marquez smiled. It's not just resilience. It's hope. We believe things can get better, even when the odds are against us. Valen fell silent, her mind racing. Hope. It was a concept her people rarely discussed, yet here it was embodied in the humans before her. She felt a pang of something, longing perhaps, though she couldn't bring herself to acknowledge it. By the time the repairs were completed, Valen found herself reluctant to see the humans go. As they prepared to leave, Marquez approached her once more. It was an honor to meet you, Commander, she said, her tone sincere. If you ever need anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. Valen nodded, her usual reserve faltering for a moment. Thank you, she said, her voice softer than she intended. Your assistance has been invaluable. As the human shuttle departed, Valen stood on the command deck, staring out at the stars. The Ecliptor was whole again, its systems humming with renewed life. Yet, something had shifted within her. A quiet, unspoken change that she couldn't yet define. She glanced at Tarek, who was watching her with a curious expression. What now? He asked. Valen hesitated, her gaze returning to the distant blue-green orb of Earth. Now, she said slowly, we continue our mission, but perhaps we have more to learn than we thought. The Ecliptor powered up its engines, the stars stretching into streaks of light as it leapt into hyperspace. Yet, as the ship sped away, Valen couldn't shake the feeling that a part of her had been left behind. On a small, vibrant planet, among a species that had offered far more than she had expected. The Ecliptor emerged from hyperspace on the outskirts of the Sol system, its sleek hull glinting faintly under the light of Earth's sun. Commander Valen stood on the command deck, her violet eyes fixed on the vibrant blue-green orb ahead. The repairs had been completed, and her ship was fully operational, yet she found herself hesitating. The humans had extended an invitation for her crew to visit Earth, a gesture of goodwill that had left her both intrigued and unsettled. She had initially dismissed the idea, but something about their offer, their openness, their warmth, lingered in her mind. Tarek approached, his scaled features unreadable as always. The humans have confirmed our approach vector, he said, his voice neutral. They've cleared us for landing at their primary spaceport. Valen nodded, her fingers brushing against the console. Prepare the landing party. We'll accept their invitation. Tarek's golden eyes flickered with surprise, but he said nothing. He had always been pragmatic, his loyalty to the mission unwavering. Yet, even he seemed to sense that something had shifted in Valen since their encounter with the humans. She couldn't explain it herself, but the curiosity gnawing at her was impossible to ignore. The descent to Earth was smooth, the Ecliptor gliding through the atmosphere with ease. As they approached the spaceport, Valen caught her first glimpse of the planet's surface. A sprawling tapestry of cities, forests, and oceans, alive with color and movement. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Her people's homeworld was a place of stark beauty, its landscapes dominated by crystalline structures and geometric precision. Earth, by contrast, was chaotic, vibrant, and utterly unpredictable. The landing party consisted of Valen, Tarek, and 2 other crew members, all of whom had been briefed on the cultural protocols of human interaction. As they stepped off the ship, they were greeted by a small delegation led by Dr. Elena Marquez. She smiled warmly, her demeanor as welcoming as it had been aboard the Ecliptor. "Welcome to Earth," she said, extending her hand. "We're honored to have you here." Valen clasped her hand briefly, her touch cool and deliberate. "Thank you," she said, her voice measured. "We appreciate your hospitality." Marquez gestured toward a waiting vehicle, its design sleek and efficient. "We've arranged a tour of the city," she explained. "We thought you might like to see a bit of our world." Valen nodded, her curiosity piqued. As they entered the vehicle, she couldn't help but notice the ease with which the humans moved, their interactions filled with laughter and casual banter. It was a stark contrast to the reserved demeanor of her own crew, and she found herself both fascinated and slightly unnerved by it. The city was a marvel of human ingenuity, its towering skyscrapers and bustling streets a testament to their adaptability and resilience. Valen watched as the humans pointed out landmarks, their pride evident in every word. They spoke of their history, their achievements, and their struggles, their voices filled with a passion that Valen found both foreign and compelling. At one point, they stopped at a park, its lush greenery a stark contrast to the urban landscape surrounding it. Marquez led them to a small pond, its surface shimmering in the sunlight. "This is one of my favorite places," she said, her tone reflective. "It's a reminder that, no matter how much we build, we're still connected to the natural world." Valen knelt by the water's edge, her fingers brushing against its surface. The sensation was strange, almost alien, yet oddly soothing. She glanced at Marquez, her brow furrowing slightly. "Your world is very different from ours." Marquez smiled. "I imagine it is. But that's what makes this so exciting, don't you think? Learning from each other, discovering new perspectives." Valen didn't respond immediately, her gaze drifting to the horizon. The human's ability to find beauty in chaos, to embrace the unpredictable, was something she couldn't fully comprehend. Yet, as she watched a group of children playing nearby, their laughter echoing through the air, she felt a strange stirring in her chest, an emotion she couldn't quite name. The tour continued, each stop revealing a new facet of human culture. They visited a museum, its halls filled with artifacts and artworks that told the story of humanity's journey. They attended a musical performance, the melodies and rhythms stirring something deep within Valen's soul. And they shared meals, the flavors and textures of human cuisine a revelation in themselves. Through it all, Valen found herself drawn to Marquez, her curiosity growing with each passing moment. The human woman was intelligent and perceptive, her questions probing but respectful. She spoke of Earth's history, its struggles and triumphs, and Valen found herself listening with a growing sense of fascination. At one point, Marquez shared a story about her childhood, her voice softening as she spoke of her family. "We've been through a lot," she said, her eyes distant, "but we always find a way to keep going. That's what humans do, we adapt, we endure." Valen felt a pang of something, longing perhaps, though she couldn't bring herself to acknowledge it. "Your resilience is remarkable," she said quietly. Marquez smiled. "It's not just resilience, it's hope. We believe things can get better, even when the odds are against us." Valen fell silent, her mind racing. Hope. It was a concept her people rarely discussed, yet here it was embodied in the humans before her. She felt a pang of something, longing perhaps, though she couldn't bring herself to acknowledge it. As the day drew to a close, Valen found herself reluctant to leave. The humans had shown her a side of their world, and themselves that she had never expected. They were complex, emotional, and deeply connected to one another in ways she couldn't fully understand. Yet, as she stood on the observation deck of the spaceport, staring out at the city below, She felt a quiet sense of gratitude. Marquez joined her, her expression thoughtful. "I hope you enjoyed your visit," she said, her tone sincere. Valen nodded, her gaze still fixed on the horizon. "It was enlightening," she said slowly. "Your world is remarkable." Marquez smiled. "We're just one small part of the universe, but we're glad to have shared it with you." Valen turned to her, her violet eyes meeting Marquez's warm gaze. "Thank you," she said, her voice softer than she intended, "for everything." As the Ecliptor prepared for departure, Valen couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed within her. The humans had offered her more than just hospitality. They had shown her a new way of seeing the universe. And as her ship ascended into the stars, she knew that her journey was far from over. The Ecliptor drifted in the silent expanse of space, its systems humming with quiet efficiency. Commander Valen stood on the command deck, her violet eyes fixed on the star-streaked void beyond the viewport. The visit to Earth had left her unsettled, her thoughts swirling with questions she couldn't answer. The humans had shown her a world of emotion and connection that defied her understanding. And now, as she prepared to return to her own people, she felt a strange ache in her chest, a longing for something she couldn't name. Tarek approached, his scaled features as unreadable as ever. "The hyperspace calculations are complete," he said, his voice calm. "We can depart at your command." Valen nodded, her fingers brushing against the console. "Prepare the ship," she said, her tone distant. "We'll leave within the hour." Tarek hesitated, his golden eyes narrowing slightly. "Commander, if I may, you seem troubled." Valen turned to him, her expression guarded. "It's nothing," she said, though the words felt hollow even to her. "The humans were unexpected. That's all." Tarek studied her for a moment before nodding. "Understood," he said, though his tone suggested otherwise. He turned and left the command deck, leaving Valen alone with her thoughts. The Ecliptor's departure was uneventful, the ship slipping into hyperspace with a faint shimmer. As the stars blurred into streaks of light, Valen found herself replaying the events of their visit. The laughter of the children in the park, the haunting melodies of the musical performance, the warmth in Marquez's eyes as she spoke of hope. It all lingered in her mind, a vivid tapestry of emotions she couldn't shake. She retreated to her quarters, seeking solace in the familiar surroundings. The room was sparse, its design reflecting the efficiency and precision of her people. Yet, as she sat on the edge of her bed, she felt a pang of something, loneliness, perhaps. The humans had shown her a world where emotions were not just acknowledged but celebrated. And now, the silence of her own existence felt almost oppressive. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. "Commander," Tarek's voice came through the calm. "We're receiving a transmission from Earth." Valen straightened, her heart quickening. "Patch it through," she said, her voice steady despite the sudden tension in her chest. The holographic image of Dr. Elena Marquez appeared before her, her expression a mix of relief and urgency. "Commander Valen," she said, her voice tight, "I'm sorry to contact you like this, but we need your help." Valen's brow furrowed. "What's happened?" Marquez took a deep breath. "A rogue asteroid is on a collision course with Earth. Our defenses aren't strong enough to stop it. We thought you might have the technology to help." Valen felt a surge of conflicting emotions. Concern, responsibility, and something deeper, something she couldn't quite name. "We'll return immediately," she said, her voice firm. "Stand by." The Ecliptor emerged from hyperspace near Earth, its sleek hull glinting in the sunlight. Valen stood on the command deck, her gaze fixed on the asteroid looming in the distance. It was massive, its jagged surface a stark reminder of the danger it posed. The humans had already launched their defenses, but the asteroid's trajectory remained unchanged. Tarek approached, his expression grim. "Our calculations confirm the asteroid's path," he said. "It will impact Earth in less than 6 hours." Valen nodded, her mind racing. "Prepare the graviton pulse," she ordered. "We'll alter its trajectory." Tarek hesitated. "Commander," The pulse will drain our power reserves. If it fails, I'm aware of the risks, Valen said, her voice sharp. But we can't stand by and do nothing. Tarek studied her for a moment before nodding. Understood, he said, turning to carry out her orders. The graviton pulse was a last resort, a technology reserved for dire emergencies. As the ecliptor positioned itself between the asteroid and Earth, Valen felt a surge of determination. The humans had shown her a world worth saving, and she would not let it be destroyed. The pulse activated with a blinding flash of light, the ship shuddering under the strain. Valen gripped the console, her eyes fixed on the asteroid. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the asteroid's trajectory began to shift, its path veering away from Earth. A cheer erupted from the human space station, their voices filled with relief and gratitude. Valen allowed herself a small smile, the tension in her chest easing. "It's done," she said, her voice soft. As the ecliptor prepared to depart once more, Valen received another transmission from Marquez. The human woman's eyes were filled with tears, her voice trembling with emotion. "Thank you," she said, her words heartfelt. "You've saved us all." Valen felt a pang of something. Pride, perhaps, or something deeper. "It was the right thing to do," she said, her voice steady. Marquez smiled, her expression warm. "You've shown us that we're not alone in the universe. That means more than you know." Valen nodded, her gaze drifting to the horizon. "You've shown me something as well," she said quietly. "Something I won't forget." As the transmission ended, Valen turned to Tarek, her expression resolute. "Set a course for home," she said. "We have much to report." Tarek nodded, his golden eyes reflecting a newfound respect. "Understood, Commander." The ecliptor powered up its engines, the stars stretching into streaks of light as it leapt into hyperspace. Yet, as the ship sped away, Valen couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed within her. The humans had offered her more than just hospitality. They had shown her a new way of seeing the universe. And as her ship ascended into the stars, she knew that her journey was far from over.